Okay, actually it says it's still setting up, but it says live now. So welcome everyone. It's your favorite girls back with more career tips as usual on our Facebook Lives. I wanted to just introduce for anybody who is new, Amanda, myself, and Ashley. Do you guys want to just give a really quick rundown on what you guys do and what you specialize in? So take it away, Amanda.
Hey everybody, I'm Amanda. Oliver's my real last name, Aurelia on Facebook. I am a career coach and I help people figure out what they love to do and then help them land those dream jobs. And so I really enjoy helping. It sounds kind of creepy, but I enjoy getting into people's heads and really kind of trying to see what they're passionate about and then working with them to find them a career that fits those passions so that they actually enjoy going to work every day.
Much needed. And Amanda, I know last week you posted the salary negotiation.
Yeah, that blew up.
That was amazing.
That was really cool.
And just such a good tool to see kind of where you're at. So thanks again for everything you do in this group. Ashley, do you want to just introduce yourself really briefly?
Yes, I'm Ashley Fry. I basically do leadership and organizational consulting with companies, basically kind of mentoring and coaching people to find their full leadership potential, whether you are in a management role or just not in a management role, but want to take more of a lead role in whatever that you're doing. Those skills come in handy in every job. And also work with organizations to kind of get some good organization down for themselves. What is your company culture like? How are your employees treated? Employee wellness benefits, all of those types of things I help people figure out as well. So it's been fun working with people to kind of organize all that stuff for them.
Awesome.
Sorry, real quick, but I love your nail color.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. It's such a good pop.
I know, it's such a good pop of purple. I was like, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I need that given that I'm in this like very monochromatic space right now.
I love that though. Is that like wallpaper or tile?
It's wallpaper. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Ashley. I would say that I'm kind of like a blend of both of you. Like I help people figure out what they want to do in their careers and then take my recruiting expertise to help them pivot. But I also love working with corporate professionals who are wanting to figure out what their next career path looks like in terms of career growth and development. So yeah, it's really cool. I would say I work with more on the individual side than I do with companies. And I think every company needs to hire Ashley because that like number one complaint that I hear from a lot of job seekers is my company is no longer supportive or I've hit that ceiling. And so everybody needs more growth and development in their organizations.
Usually when they don't have Ashley, that's when they come to us.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, well, we're not getting where we need to be. So now we're having to try and find jobs.
So true.
Well, today we're really excited to have this Facebook Live. We're kind of winding down in 2018, and I know New Year's resolutions and like goals listing is starting really, really soon around the corner. And so in this call today, we each wanted to share one of our top tips for you if you're looking to either grow in your career or just continuously develop personally. And I think this is really important because I actually was on another Facebook Live earlier today, and one of the communication experts and leadership experts I spoke with, she had mentioned that, you know, it's really rare that you find a boss in your career that is going to be like your advocate, your mentor, and the person that's going to really help you grow your career. As much as like it seems like that should be a necessity or like a requirement. It's often not because so many people are just focused on their own agendas and they get really busy on their own. So I think what that really means is we all have to be our own personal advocates and really start to think about our own career development and just take complete ownership of that. So I would love to just kind of go around and have Amanda, Ashley, and myself just kind of share a top tip, and then we'll answer any questions that you guys have towards the end. So if you're catching us live right now, as we start to share anything that really sparks a question, feel free to comment, and we'll definitely get to you by the end of this call today. So Amanda, do you want to, sorry, I keep starting with Amanda because she's like on my left, but let's see, actually just to switch it up, let me move to Ashley. Ashley, do you want to share your top tip with us?
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
What you said about being your own advocate, it just makes me remember something I said to somebody before, is that women have a really hard time because we feel very loyal to people. We become friends with people at work, and we don't necessarily always put our own best interests first because we feel a sense of loyalty. And so when you said be your own best advocate, everybody needs to remember, I mean, look at the GM situation. I was texting actually a Skin Ambassador friend who, Kristen, if you're listening, because I know she works for a GM. I was texting to her the other day. Companies at the end of the day are going to do what they need to do to save money because they're a business. And as big or as small of a company as you are, you have to remember that unless you're the CEO, at the end of the day, they're going to do what they need to do. So you need to look out for you. As much as it would be great if companies really looked out for us to, in totality, at the end of the day, like you said, you got to be your own advocate. So it was so relevant to what I'd been discussing the other day. So I was like, I have to say something, but sorry, Ashley, all you.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. So I think, we kind of discussed some tips that we're going to go over with you guys, and they're all things where you can kind of just start the year out with a fresh mind and really propel you and take your career to that next level, whether you're wanting to switch things up or stay where you are. There's always kind of that next step you can kind of shoot for. So the one that I wanted to go over with you guys that I am a firm believer in, is something I read about only just a few months ago, and it just resonated so strongly with me, was sign up for or look into, take lessons or whatever it takes for something that you're going to be bad at or maybe just mediocre at. I think a lot of times we tend to sign up for things or try a new class or whatever for something that's like, I've always been good at this, so I want to get better at it. And that's a natural inclination, and that's a great thing. But to go out of your way, and even starting out a year, like in the beginning of the year, really kind of putting your best foot forward with doing something that scares you, that you're going to be god awful at, and that you're just going to do it anyway, just to try something new. It's a really good humbling exercise, humility, but also just to try something that you've just never done before type of thing. So that's my top tip, is to, find a buddy if you just feel like it's totally out of your comfort zone. That could be another way to network as well, as to do it with somebody. But find something that you're going to be pretty bad at and just go for it.
I love that. I'm curious, Ashley, what is your activity that you're going to sign up for?
Ooh, that's a great question. So my self-proclaimed thing that I'm always like, I can't do, is drawing and painting. So I've always looked at those art bars and those fun things that look like, a glass of wine and paint, but I've been terrified to do them because I just know that it'll be a disaster on the canvas. But I think that's the one that I need to bite the bullet and in 2019 kind of just go for it and paint something. I think it'd be good for me. So. Oh
my gosh, we're gonna hold you accountable to that, and
I'll show you guys my work when I'm done.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Amanda, do you want to piggyback off of that or share what your comfort zone stretching is?
So I'm not athletic whatsoever. I'm the type of person that I will fall completely sober, flat surface, and I'll still manage to trip over my own 2 feet. Or injure myself in some way. My family has now even called it pulling an Amanda. So I'm not athletic at all, but something I've always really been fascinating in is fencing. And especially because in 2016? Yeah, 2016, a couple of the fencers had purple and pink hair, and I was like, oh, these are my people. So fencing is actually something I'd really like to try. And I, not being athletic and being prone to injuring myself, it might not work out too well, but I'm
hopefully you're alive in 2019 when we Ashley's masterpiece.
Hopefully I survived 2019, so we'll see. Yeah. But my top tip is really, don't confuse being content or complacent with being happy. I really run into this a lot with my clients and just with friends. They're like, my job's okay. They're like, it's fine. I like the people I work with. I have good benefits. It's okay. And in that mindset, when you're in that sort of just going along to get along, and you know, even if it's not, because like I also get people obviously where their boss is like verbally abusive, or they have to get out of a situation, or they've been fired. So obviously those situations are very different, but don't confuse, like, just because things are okay, if you know, you should be excited. You should love what you do. And you know, that doesn't mean that every day is wonderful. I always joke that it's compared to marriage. So, you know, Emily, tip for the newly married of us. But, you know, are you going to love your spouse every single day, like full of love for that person? Probably not. There's going to be days when you're like, I could push you down the stairs. But, you know, like generally overall, you love what you do. You're excited to be with that person. You're excited to see them. And it should be that way with your job. I'm not saying that every day there's not going to be stuff, and there's always stuff. I mean, the three of us are entrepreneurs. There's stuff, I'm sure, like for me, it's the financial side. It's a pain in the ass. I hate doing it, but I have to do it, you know. So there are days that I don't love everything that I do, but overall I love what I do. I'm excited to do it. I'm always thinking up new ideas, ways to grow and innovate. And people should really feel that way in whatever they're doing. And so I just don't want people to confuse either being content or, you know, being complacent with being happy. And my tip is to figure out what truly makes you happy and go for it. You know, we were all sold, I feel like, a box of goods that was like, if you follow this path and do this, this is where you're going to end up. And it doesn't always work out like that. And in fact, for most people, it doesn't. Or maybe it did, and you're not excited about it anymore. And that's okay. I get a lot of clients too that have been in sales their whole life. And now they're like, I'm just not in love with it. What can I do now? You know, and skills are so transferable. I'm actually helping a PhD in it's like developmental embryology or something. Anyways, she's trying to transition into working for the government in research. So, you know, obviously there's the very technical stuff, but you know, there's ways to take pretty much anything and transfer it. So, you know, find what makes you happy and just really go for it, and evaluate if you're happy or if you're just getting by. So sorry, that was a little long-winded.
I think that's a good.
I love that. And I think that really ties into what Ashley shared. What I'm seeing as like the common thread is not to ever stop growing, in a sense. And are you guys familiar with Carol Dweck's fixed mindset versus growth mindset?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is what it kind of reminds me of. If you're doing something so well and you're like exceeding all of your expectations all the time and you're not failing, it means that you're not growing.
Yep.
And I love that, you know, with Ashley, you know, try something that you know you're going to suck at, because with anything you can improve over time. By the way, my personal one is public speaking. I noticed that as a skills gap, that's an area of opportunity for me to develop. So I'm really joining Toastmasters more consistently this upcoming year. But I love that the two of you both mentioned things that were non-related to skills you would be using in the workplace. But it made me realize, like, wow, if you meet somebody who loves fencing, or like another person who's really creative, or you're in a job that like is creative, that's super exciting to talk about in the interview process, because you can build rapport, you can make new connections, you can really showcase like you're multidimensional. And I think that goes back to what Amanda shared about just being like very multi-passionate, very multifaceted. You're going to be evolving, and what you once liked may not be the season anymore of like what it is that you want to continue to do. So I think that's a really good way to like continuously check in. Am I still excited? Am I still motivated? Am I energized? Or am I like dreading doing what I do? Do you want to piggyback off of that, Ashley?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, I just worked with a lot of people who, you know, they figure out maybe what makes them happy and they know what path they want to take, but they're really scared to leave the comfort of that job where they were like, yeah, it's okay, kind of what Amanda described. So kind of to piggyback off of that, of Amanda's tip, I think that's great. And then for someone who doesn't want to just like make a huge leap, do things on the side that maybe you don't even get paid for in the beginning. You know, they might not equate to anything monetary in the beginning, and that's okay too. Of, you know, doing volunteer work or helping out a friend or whatever it is, or even if you can job shadow somebody, or just trying things out in the field or the realm you think you want to go in to try it on for size. I think that's, you know, that's just helped out a lot of people I've worked with their comfort level, you know, if they're not fully comfortable taking a huge leap. So just another tip that I think you guys can use too.
I usually recommend that to people too. If they're like, well, I've always been interested in event planning, but I don't know if I'd be good at it. Like, volunteer. You know, they could always use people to help. And actually, FYI, everybody, Charleston Food and Wine Festival is looking for volunteers too. One of my friends texted me about that, but you get into everything and you get to try all the food and wine.
Yeah, there's some perks with volunteering at events for sure.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm just saying, but yeah, like if you're not sure, then most companies aren't going to turn down free help. Like, you know, obviously don't let them use you to the point where like you're working full time and not getting paid.
Yeah.
But you know, like if you want to be in event planning, yeah, ask if you can shadow somebody or something. Like, do something that is going to help you make that decision. You know, don't just be like, I'd like to try it, but I don't know if I'd be good at it, so I'm not going to do anything, kind of thing, you know?
Exactly. I think that really informs your decision, and only by being in action will you truly know. And this actually reminds me of a weird analogy, but I recently signed up for Trunk Club, and every time I see, like, for those that don't know, it's basically you have like a stylist who curates boxes for you from Nordstrom, and you like kind of tell them what your style and sizes are, and they send you a box. But every time I like see the box beforehand, I'm like, ooh, that looks cute, that looks cute, that looks cute, like accept all. And then it gets delivered to my door and I actually try it on. Like, this is why I remembered this analogy, but I actually tried it on and I realized like, wow, I'm gonna send back like 9 out of 10 of these items because they don't fit. So I really like that analogy of trying it on before you commit, but also try it on so you know, and you can really make a decision, a better informed decision moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Okay, so my tip is I talk to a lot of job seekers who they start to elicit my help when they realize like, I want to find a new job. And I have to say, like, the biggest advice that I want to give to anybody based on what I've seen time and time again from clients is, and you guys probably have heard this, the best time to network is when you don't need a job. And so it's really, really true, because job searching takes time. Building relationships and rapport with somebody takes time. And so I think if it's even as small as starting off by reactivating your old connections, meaning maybe you haven't talked to them in the past 6 months, but you have zero agenda. You just want to say hi, let them know you saw them, you saw that they recently got engaged, whatever it might be on social media, or just to let them know like, hey, I thought of you. I hope you're doing well. That way, when you do want to job search, whether it's like 4 months down the road, 5 months down the road, you're not just like this complete stranger who's asking for help or asking for a favor. And I know, like, especially women, we always feel really self-conscious about, well, do they feel like I'm just taking advantage of them? Or do I feel like I'm just coming off because I need a favor? This will eliminate all of that. So I think the goal is to really turn as many cold contacts, meaning people you haven't talked to in 6 months, and like turn them into warm contacts, meaning you've had some type of recent engagement, even if it's like, hey, how's it going? Are you still working out? Whatever, right? So just anything small interactions go a long ways. And then I think the biggest tip is to continuously keep them warm. It just doesn't mean like you need to message them every day or every week or even every month, but just like once a quarter, like carve out an hour of your time just to like touch base with them again, wish them a holiday, like a happy holiday, a happy birthday. Like, LinkedIn actually does a really good job of telling you when people are celebrating work anniversaries and or birthdays. And so I think it's really just good to see like, how can I share with this person I've been thinking about them? And the more people you can keep warm, the more people you can ask for help when that time does come that you're making a career transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's something that I even did with my friendships. I make goals each quarter because I'm like that. But one of the things was I was like, be intentional about nurturing my friendships because, one of the things I noticed is that I make these great connections with people and then we both get busy and everybody has lives and, it like a marriage or any relationship, you have to consistently put in effort. And so that was something that, I made in my planner, like I'm going to reach out to these people this week and check in and say hi and, let them know I'm thinking about them. And it's reinvigorated a lot of my friendships. And so that's something that when you were mentioning that, I was like, that's, you do have to kind of be intentional about it. Like you can't just sort of expect that it's going to happen. But I think that's a great, great piece of advice for people.
Yeah, I really like the don't have an agenda because it makes it more spontaneous and it makes it more personal and, that you are just thinking of them. And it can be awkward when it's like, shoot, I am only reaching out to them to ask them for something. And we've all been in that situation. It's like, just avoid it and have the more authentic, personalized messages of like, hey, I saw that you got a new job or got engaged or whatever it might be. It just makes it so much more natural in the conversation. So that's it.
Or go grab drinks or go, like we were saying earlier, go outside of your comfort zone. And, if there's a festival downtown with a topic that you think is interesting, recently there was a brunch festival in Charleston, which of course there was. But
amazing.
It actually was like the coolest thing ever. But it's one of those things to be like, hey, do you want to go check out this brunch festival? Or, it's like, do things that it's going to be, something fun, but there's no commitment. I think that's something too that like you'll have a good time either way.
And it makes it casual. Like if you're sipping champagne or something, like how professional and awkward can you feel? Like you're gonna feel just more authentic that way. So
absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, like people stress about the word networking, but it really is simply building friendships and building relationships. And if we can look at it that way, it becomes so much fun. It's just like building friendships with people and maintaining friendships with existing people, right?
So that's what this is. That's really what, like, I knew that you guys were in sort of career leadership businesses, and I like reached out to both of you. I messaged, in a group, and I was like, hey, what do you guys think about doing a webinar? And it was just one of the things I was like, I'm interested in what they do and I've seen what they do. So I'm going to, work with them, and who knows down the road, one of us might be referring clients to each other or whatever, but it's like, it was just something that I thought, hey, this would be fun. And I have to say, like, I've now come to like really look forward to these. I kind of missed it last week. I was like, are we doing something? No, we don't have one, So
they're so much fun. I feel like you guys are my new coworkers.
I know.
Yeah, especially since we all work from home. It's like, we don't have coworkers, so I guess this is our coworker space. But it was just like, you never know where. I always tell people, you don't know who knows who. So you never know who somebody can introduce you to. You never know, the type of random connections people might have that, end up working for your benefit. So
I know most of the opportunities I feel like we all get in life. I know my life has been this way. I've been like, I would never have guessed in a million years he would have known this person who knew this person. I mean, you have no clue what's going to pan out. So it's just about being your authentic self. You can't put a mask on and fake that. You just have to be yourself and make those friendships. And think of it more of like making friends than networking. I think that's a little easier for people.
I love that. Okay, so to recap everything, essentially Ashley's tip is do something that stretches you in 2019, something that kind of terrifies you. You're going to suck at it, but just do it anyway. And I think what would be cool is kind of like journaling where you are January 2019 and then re-journaling in December just to see like how much you've grown. That would be super exciting because I think seeing progress is really encouraging. And once you realize like, oh, I've done that, like you can do that to anything in the future as well. And then I loved Amanda's around I liked your alliteration. You were like, don't confuse complacency
Yeah, with happiness.
With happiness. Yeah. So really do internal check-ins and realize, like, recognize if it is coming from a place of just being complacent. I actually always say, like, fine is worse than the 4-letter F word. It's like the worst condition to be in, because it's not good, it's not bad, it's just fine, which is mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think about fine as like a 3-star rating on Yelp. You know, it's not like great, it's not poor, but it's like 3-star. And who goes to like 3-star restaurants? Yeah. So, and then mine is really, again, just focus on building relationships and really reconnecting with people with no agenda whatsoever. So even if it's like, you know, you want to reach out to 2 people each month, like, make that your goal and stick to it. By the end of the year, you have 24 people that you can tap into if you need something. And it's not so out of the blue and you don't feel guilty.
And it was funny because you said journal it, and I was going through my planner from the beginning of the year because I've been cleaning out my office, and my 2 big goals for the year were take my business full time and move to Charleston. So I'm just telling you guys, you know, the whole like manifest it into being, like, sometimes I worry about getting a little woo woo with some of this.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I really feel like I like looked at that and I was like, oh shit, like I actually did those things.
There's actually scientific studies that show, like, the more, like, if you write it down, it's more likely to become successful than if you just keep it internalized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
It's so true. I've read about a lot of that research too. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And during this Cyber Week, there's lots of journals on sale. I've been getting and I'm like, don't open them, don't buy them.
You know, I have a stationery obsession too.
Yeah.
Way
But
too
I
many.
think also the other thing is having an accountability partner. Just like being able to share your goal aloud with somebody else is really powerful, and people can actually hold you accountable, but you're also stating it. Because I know a lot of people who don't state their goals because they're worried it's not going to come true. And in that sense, like, they're already like diminishing what they want to put out there. So maybe, because I loved how you had a prompt following our Facebook Live last time, Amanda. So maybe for this prompt, we can start a thread around sharing what your big 2019 goal is. Like,
yeah, we can hold each other accountable.
Yeah,
I like it.
hold each other accountable. Love it.
And I promise I'll show you guys my painting when I do it, okay?
Oh my gosh, we're holding you accountable to
I'm
that.
gonna come back with like an eye patch or something in January. I'll like, what's the line from A Christmas Story?
I know.
Out, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be me, but with a sword. So
Yeah.
good thing you have those masks. So
Well, great. I think we're at the end of our session today. If, again, people are joining or catching the replay, feel free to comment, tag any one of us, and we can answer the questions that you might have. Otherwise, we'll see you guys all next week, the 5th of December, for the Q&As, right? Yes. So this is basically us just really opening ourselves up to answer any questions you have, whether it's career search related, it's career development related, or you just have something going on in your career that you want addressed. I believe, Amanda, you have a whole thread going, and plus a Google form for those that want to stay anonymous. So
I'll bump that.
Yeah, we'll bump it, and then you guys ask your questions before next Wednesday, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, bye guys.
Bye. Oh, hold on.